Now we'll learn about section 30, that is revolving machinery. In this section we will be learning about speed of the revolving machinery, the notice to be displayed regarding the same, and the effective arrangement that is to be taken care of so that the maximum speed of revolving machinery is not exceeded. So we will go through this section one by one. The first one is notice indicating the maximum safe working peripheral speed of every grindstone or abrasive wheel, speed of shaft or spindle, diameter of the pulley to be displayed. If the factory is carrying out a grinding process, then they need to display a notice which contains the speed of the grindstone of the abrasive wheel, the speed of the shaft or spindle, and diameter of the pulley. Next subsection, subsection 2. The speed indicated in the notice shall not be exceeded. Now, the person who is working has to ensure that the speed which is indicated in the notice is not exceeded. Subsection 3. Effective measures shall be taken to ensure that the safe working peripheral speed of every revolving vessel, cage, basket, flywheel, pulley, disc or similar appliance driven by power is not exceeded. Now the factory has to make effective arrangement so that the maximum speed of the following items such as vessel, cage, basket, flywheel, pulley, disc or similar appliance which are driven by power is not exceeded. Now we'll learn about section 31, this pressure plant. In this section we'll be learning about plant and machinery which is operated above atmospheric pressure, and also the power given to the state government in regards to the same. So we'll go through the subsection. Subsection 1. If in any factory, any plant or machinery or any part thereof is operated at a pressure above atmospheric pressure, effective measures shall be taken to ensure that the safe working pressure of such plant or machinery or part is not exceeded. Now as you can see in this image, there are two pressure vessels and these are operated at a pressure which is above atmospheric pressure. So there should be effective measures taken such as putting off of safety relief valve. So once the safe working pressure is exceeded, the safety relief valve will release the pressure. Similarly, putting up of a pressure gauge which will indicate the pressure at any point of time. So these are some of the safety measures that could be taken in a pressure vessel. Next subsection, subsection 2. The state government may make rules providing for the examination and testing of any plant or machinery and prescribing such other safety measure in any factory or class or description of factory. Now state government has been given the power to make rules regarding the examination and testing of the pressure vessels or any plant or machinery which is operated above atmospheric pressure, and also they can prescribe the safety measures regarding the same. Subsection 3. The state government may by rules exempt, subject to such condition as may be specified therein, any part of any plant or machinery referred to in subsection 1 from the provision of this section. The state government has been given the power to exempt any plant or machinery from subsection 1, provided they should specify such condition. So now we'll move on to our next section. Now we will be learning about section 32, that is floors, stairs and means of access. In this section we will be learning about safety on floors, steps, stairs, passage, gangways and work at height. So we'll go through this section. The first subsection 1a. All floors, steps, stairs, passages and gangways shall be of sound construction and properly maintained and free from obstruction. Whenever necessary, handrails to be provided. So all these areas where worker pass or workers work, such as floors, steps, stairs, passage, gangways, they shall be of sound construction, a good quality construction, and has to be properly maintained, maybe by painting or other means. They should be kept free from obstruction so that the worker, when they pass, they should not hit this obstruction and cause any accident. So they should be kept free from obstruction, and whenever necessary, handrails to be provided. As you can see in this image, handrails have been provided to the stairs. So similar handrails has to be provided whenever necessary. Clause B. Safe means of access to be provided and maintained to every place at which any person is at any time required to work. So as you can see in this image, a conveyor is passing, so it is not possible for the worker to move from this end to other end. So steps has been provided with the platform, as you can see in this image. So similar arrangement has to be made in such scenarios wherein a passing or crossing the conveyor or any other thing is not possible. So such safe means of access have to be provided and maintained so that worker can pass. Clause C. When any person has to work at a height, provision shall be made to ensure his safety. Whenever a person is working at a height, it should be ensured that they work safely. So there might be a scaffolding provided or platform provided, so work them safety, even providing PPE such as helmet, safety belt, etc. With this, we'll move on to our next section. Now we'll go through section 33, pit, sumps, opening in floor. This section speaks about safety in openings in vessel, sump, tanks, pit or opening in ground. It also speaks about power that is given to the state government. So we'll go through this subsection. The first subsection: in every fixed vessel, sump, tank, pit or opening in the ground or in the floor, which by reason of its depth, situation, construction or content is or may be a source of danger, shall be either securely covered or securely fenced. As you can see in this image, there is an opening and this opening is securely fenced. Similarly, if there is any opening which could be a cause of a potential danger, it should be either covered or fenced. Subsection 2. The state government may by order in writing exempt, subject to such condition as may be prescribed, any factory or class or description of factories in respect of any vessel, sump, tank, pit or opening from the compliance with the provision of this section. Now here the power has been given to the state government to exempt any factories or class or description of the factories in complying with the above section. So we will move on to our next section. Now we'll learn about section 34, that is excessive weight. This section especially speaks about the maximum weight that could be carried by a person without causing him injury, and also the power is given to the state government to frame rules regarding the same. So we'll go through the subsection. Subsection 1. No person shall be employed in any factory to lift, carry or move any load so as to be likely to cause him injury. So as you can see in this image, a person should not be carrying any load which can cause him injury. Okay, so there are standards which has to be framed by the state government, okay, which is we will see in the further section, so that the person should not be carrying the weight more than what he is supposed to carry and which might cause him injury. Subsection 2. The state government may make rules prescribing the maximum weight which may be lifted, carried or moved by adult men, adult women, adolescent and children employed in factories or in class or description of factories or in carrying on any specified process. Now state government has to make rules regarding the maximum weight that could be carried by an adult person, or adult woman, adolescent and a children. So they have to frame rules regarding the same, so that how much maximum weight could be carried by a adult man, how much maximum weight could be carried by a woman, or how much maximum weight could be carried by children. That has to be stated by the state government. So we'll move on to our next section. Section 36, protection of eyes. In this section we'll be learning about safety of eyes from the particles of fragrance thrown off during the course of process and even excessive light. So we'll go through the subsection to get a better understanding of it. Subsection 1. In respect of any such manufacturing process carried on in any factory with the process involving risk of injury to the eyes from particle or fragment thrown off in the course of process. Now especially the particle or fragment are thrown off in process such as grinding, okay, or cutting. So adequate precaution has to be taken, such as a face shield should be worn in case there are a lot of particles spattering outside the grinding area, okay, and a protection such as a face shield is required. In case of processes such as drilling machine, or safety glasses is mandatory so that the particle or fragments does not enter the eye. Clause B. The process which involves risk to the eyes by reason of exposure of excessive light, the state government may by rule require that effective screen or suitable goggles shall be provided. Now there are certain processes such as welding, which emits radiation and excessive light and which cannot be seen via naked eyes. So there should be a special welding glass that shall be used so that the light is filtered and a minimum light enters the eye and eye is protected. So such arrangement shall be made. So this power is given to the state government that they may make rules regarding the same, maybe by providing the screen and suitable goggles to the employees. So rules regarding the same the state government have to make. Now we'll learn about section 36, that is precaution against dangerous fumes, gases, etc. In this section we'll be learning about person entering a confined space and the necessary safety precautions to be taken to protect a person entering a confined space. Now what is a confined space? A confined space may be a chamber or a tank which is enclosed from all sides, and there is a provision for a manhole for a person to enter the confined space. Now confined space may contain toxic gases or inflammable gases, and if a person enters directly it might be injurious to his health. So there are certain safety precautions mentioned in this act. We'll go through this one by one. Subsection 1. Person shall not be allowed to enter any chamber, tank, vat, pit, pipe, flue or other confined space in which any gas, fume, vapor or dust is likely to be present to an extent of a risk to a person unless manhole or means of egress is present. A confined space, as we know, is a place where there are chances of toxic gases might be present, inflammable gases might be present, or there might be oxygen deficiency atmosphere wherein oxygen is not present at all. So sending a person inside a confined space is a risky job. So before sending a person it has to be ensured that there is a manhole or a means of egress is present, so that in case of emergency situation person can be taken out immediately. So we'll go through this confined spaces. First one is chamber. Chamber, for example of chamber, if I have to give you a ETP HTP chamber or a sewerage chamber, wherein in case of for the maintenance purpose a person might have to go inside. So even after cleaning the chamber there are chances that gases might be present. Okay, so there should be a manhole or a means of egress should be provided so that person can come out immediately. Similarly, in case of tanks, vat, pit, and flue gases or other confined spaces, there are chances that the toxic gases or inflammable gases might be present inside that confined space. So it has to be ensured that there is a manhole or means of egress, so that in case of emergency a person can come out immediately. So we will move on to our next subsection, subsection 2. Person shall not be allowed to enter any confined space until any gas, fume, vapor or dust is within the permissible limit and its ingress is prevented. Before sending any person inside a confined space, it has to be ensured that it is free from any harmful dust, gas or fumes. The atmosphere present inside the confined space has to be non-harmful to the person entering the confined space, and all the concentration of the gases present inside should be within the permissible limit. And also it has to be ensured that the re-entry or ingress of the gas, vapor or dust has to be prevented or stopped. This subsection has got two clauses. We'll go through this one by one. Clause A. A certificate in writing has been given by a competent person based on tests carried out by himself that the space is reasonably free from dangerous gas, fume, vapor or dust. So as you can see in this image, a competent person is testing the atmosphere inside a confined space. So he is basically checking the concentration of the gases and the oxygen present inside the confined space. And if the results of the test are okay, then he will provide a certificate that the inside atmosphere is okay and person can go inside. So this certificate has to be taken before entering any person inside a confined space. So this will ensure that the atmosphere present inside a confined space is okay for a person entry. Clause B. Such person is wearing a suitable breathing apparatus and a belt securely attached to a rope, the free end of which is held by a person outside the confined space. When a person enters confined space, even after ensuring the above things, there are chances that there are pockets of the toxics or other gases might be present. So in order to not take any risk, the person has to wear a breathing apparatus and enter the confined space. And also another safety measure is that he has to be tied with rope or a belt, and the other end of which should be held by a person who is outside the confined space. So in case of any emergency, that person can be taken out without another person entering the confined space. So these are the certain list of precautions that is to be taken before any person enters a confined space. So we will move on to our next section. Section 36A, Precaution regarding the use of portable electric light. In this section we will be learning about the kind of light that is supposed to be used in confined space and what kind of light we are not supposed to use. So we'll go through the subsection to get better understanding of it. Subsection A. No portable electric light or any other electric appliance of voltage exceeding 24 volt shall be permitted for use inside any chamber, tank, vat, pit, pipe, flue or other confined space. So as we know that confined space is a place where there is no interior lighting and the place is completely dark. So in order to illuminate the same, we will need to carry a light, okay, an electric light. So while carrying an electric light, it has to be ensured that the voltage of it does not exceed 24 volt. So any electric light which is less than 24 volt is permitted or allowed inside a confined space. Subsection B. If any flammable gas, fume, dust is likely to be present in such chamber, tank, vat, pit, pipe, flue or other confined space, no lamp or light other than that of flame-proof construction shall be permitted. Now if a confined space contains a flammable gas or dust, and if we carry a light, electric light, what will happen? It will catch fire and there are chances of accident. So it has to be ensured that while carrying electric light in a confined space which already contains inflammable gas, the light should be of flame-proof construction.